Hello and welcome to Stretford Paddock. We meant to get an intro video, but you know what? At this point, who even cares? I'm here again at home, also known as Lockdown HQ, which I'm calling it sort of half jokingly, but it's been like 4 days now, hasn't it? And it does actually kind of feel like, you know, things are getting pretty serious. So I'm here. I've got the plants on the bed again. I just sleep with them there now. It's just easier, isn't it? Easier. One second, let me sort this mic out because this might be a bit noisy. I apologise. There you go. That's better. I just sleep with them there now. Cuddle up to them, pretend they're, you know, some sort of loved one. Anyway, we're here for the news this morning, of course, and that main news that's literally come out in the last sort of 20 minutes or so is coming out of Sky. It's been then reported by The Sun, The Metro, a lot of other big publications, is that Manchester United loanee Odion Ighalo has been offered £400,000 a week by Shanghai Shenhua. Okay. Well, that throws a spanner in the works, doesn't it? Quite a large spanner, actually. A sort of Alexis Sanchez-sized spanner. There's always been these reports floating around. We'll get into the meat and potatoes of the article in just a minute, but there's always been these reports flying around that Ighalo, he'd play for United for free. He's such a fan. He loves playing for United. He didn't want to. He don't mind getting a pay cut. We'll find out now, won't we? We'll find out if he meant it now, if that's true. Because bloody hell, 400 grand a week's hard to turn down, isn't it? I would do almost anything for 400 grand a week. Except I wouldn't put another plant on the bed because it is getting a bit cramped for space. Let me know what you think in the comments. First of all, let me know, obviously United aren't going to match this offer. That's, you know, that would be absolutely ludicrous. We ain't making Odion Ighalo the highest paid player at the club. But, you know, do you think we've got a chance of kind of luring him away when these are the sort of offers that have been thrown at him? Obviously, there's a couple of options here we'll get into, but there's a chance that Shanghai, you know, have seen how good he's been at United and thought, you know what, we can't afford to get rid of this guy, or we can't afford to lose this guy. And also there's a chance that they're thinking, we'll offer him that, so all of a sudden, you know, United have to pay us a little bit more because with 15 million price tag floating around, that doesn't sound right. Manchester United buying a striker for 15 million, who they've already had, who they know is good. We want to get a bit more from them than that. So maybe they're thinking, if we offer him 400 grand a week, in these contract talks, we can probably get 25 million for him rather than 15, which isn't really a lot, is it? Anyway, so the article goes on to say, the Chinese club want to reward the Nigerian striker with a new 2-year extension to his current contract. I mean, that is literally it. That's how fresh this story is. It's so fresh that we've got a little more to follow on it. Well, I don't need more to follow. I need it now, Sky. But yeah, let us know. Someone said that is a lot of money. That is a lot of money, isn't it? 400 grand a week is a lot of money. I don't think I've ever been, other than like sort of National Trust properties, I don't even think I've ever been in a 400 grand house, let alone 400 grand a week. Being able to buy one of those houses a week. Sensational. You know, obviously, I don't think there's going to be anyone saying that United ought to match this offer. Even the most vehement and staunch Odion Ighalo fans aren't going to say, yeah, we need to pay him 400 grand a week. Actually, let me just plug my laptop in a sec because as much of a shambles as this is, we don't want it to go off, do we? So let's plug that in. That makes me feel better. Yeah, I don't think anyone is going to be here saying that United ought to match that offer. Do you think, though, this is a genuine offer by Shanghai, or do you think it is just part of a sort of transfer tactic trying to get more money out of United for Ighalo? Also, I thought there was a contract kind of limit that was being placed in China now. Are they allowed to just give him 400 grand a week? Obviously, we've just got a more to follow from Sky. How about all of the information, please? Can we have that to follow? Because a minute, basically, all they've got is a headline, and therefore all we've got is a headline. Let's go on the Metro and see what they've made out of it. Because, like I said, it's such a break. I was literally making the thumbnail for this video to be about our second story, and then I had to go and make this be the new thumbnail immediately. So let's get that up on the screen first of all. There you go. Professional. Like I said, it's been a bit of a rush this morning because this story is so fresh, so hot right now. But yeah, this is the Metro saying that the Boyhood United fan, they're adding a lot of you know, frothy language to it. But the Boyhood United fan has been on loan at Old Trafford since the January transfer window and has impressed with his performances and has convinced Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to make his stay permanent. Well, let's look at these performances then. He's played 8 appearances, or made 8 appearances so far for United, scored 4 goals and got 1 assist in that time as well. And I think he's actually only had 4 starts, and I think he's got 3 goals in those 4 starts and another goal in one of his substitute appearances. So, you know, it's been literally exactly what we wanted from him. I remember before he came and all the rumours were circling around, I was talking to friends and stuff like that, thinking what would be a successful term for him at United? Would it just be anything other than embarrassment? Because there were some sort of sections, especially of opposition fans, who were sort of saying it's the most desperate signing we've ever seen. It got it's like signing Papi Cisse or one of just these sort of forgotten Premier League strikers. So almost the initial thought was, well, as long as it's not embarrassing for him because you feel for him as a United fan, and embarrassing for Solskjaer and embarrassing for us as fans, then it's a success. But I don't think many people expect him to be getting a goal every other game. I think he's averaging a goal about every 70 minutes, and some excellent goals in there as well, especially that one against LASK was a wonderful goal. So he's clearly got talent, he's clearly got skills, he's clearly got an eye for goal. And with, we've got Mason Greenwood coming through, we've got Martial, who just looks to be hitting another level in recent weeks. Hopefully, he would play a perfect kind of backup to those sorts of players and allow them to come through whilst playing for a club that he loves. But is he going to be able to turn down 400 grand a week? Like, again, not to get too sentimental about it, but I saw a documentary the other week about the part of Nigeria that he's from, talking about the poverty there and the kind of the lifestyle that he would have experienced growing up. And 400 grand a week is, life-changing money for him and his near extended family. That's, if you think about this from a sort of personal perspective, I know he'd probably be getting 150 whatever at United, but 400 grand a week sets his family up for generations, a couple of years of that. So it's not just as easy as, come play for United, you're a fan. What do you think? If you were him, what would you do? I was going to say take being a United fan out of it, but you don't need to, because he is a United fan. So let me know in the comments what you think. He should say Shanghai. I think I might say Shanghai to that comment because that made me feel a bit sick, mate. He loves United and would love to stay with the club and accept less than 400k. Great. Thank you, Sam G, for your kind comments there. Some Ole out stuff going on. Don't know why that's even part of the comment, but I suppose we can't, we can't vet them too strongly. Well, it's up to him, I have to say. And is there not a limit of 30k a week? Yes. I was thinking that. Well, I mentioned it before, didn't I? Even the Metro, who like writing, long articles about very little, haven't even mentioned this supposed contract sort of limit that's been imposed in China. Football Manager says, Football Manager, says that Ighalo is on 300 grand a week. Do you think that's true? I think it could be true. I know he's on a hell of a lot of money in China, and you would think if they're offering 400, he's probably not on like 200. They're not going to be doubling his wages, so he's probably on something like that at the minute anyway. United can pay him less, and he would stay with us as United is his dream team. It is his dream team, but like I said, think of it from a sort of lifestyle and life perspective. 400 grand a week, do 2 years of that, and his family and his extended family and his friends and the people who maybe haven't had a chance to earn the kind of money he's had in and around his life have different lives for generations. I know it's a bit sort of over the top kind of rhetoric there, but it is true. You've got to think about these people as humans as well as just footballers. He should stay for next season, then go to Shanghai, which would be good for both clubs as his profile would be bigger for Shanghai. That might be a decent shout. Another loan, so another year of the loan and then come back to that contract afterwards. That could be a good idea. At least let's give Ole a chance. I agree, but that's not really what we're talking about today. Someone said his family is probably fine on 100 grand a week. You say that, and I appreciate that, and that's true. But 100 grand a week is everyone's sorted for life. 400 grand a week is everyone and their kids and their grandkids are sorted for life. So it's not just as easy as saying 100 grand is enough. And I know it is enough, obviously, but you've got to think about this on a little bit of a bigger picture, perhaps. I'm just trying to think of the only reason he would be willing to stay in China, because obviously he seems to be loving it at United. He's clearly loving it at United. Right, anyway, let's get on to our second bit of news for today. Keep the comments coming in about whether you think Ighalo should turn down 400 grand a week to play for Man United. It would be one of the most highly paid footballers in the world, highly paid athletes in the world, highly paid people in the world, definitely. Top sort of 1% easy. That's a guess, but it's got to be true. Right, next story then. Next up, we get rid of that one and bring in that one. Dillon Hoogerwerf, a Manchester United Academy product who we signed from Ajax, I think last season, has signed his first ever professional contract. He, speaking on Instagram, he said, "Really happy to sign my first professional contract. Can't wait to get back to the training ground and continue the hard work." Now, Dillon Hoogerwerf is a sort of attacker, very small, sort of diminutive player, but sort of a strong, is very skillful, very good technically. That kind of, you know the sort of type to a certain extent. It's a good sign, I think, United keeping hold of these young talents that we've got, and it's good that United again. I know we did this under all of our managers, but there has seemed to be a real kind of, if we like you, here's your contract. If we don't like you, you go in, type feel about the club, especially since Ole arrived. I know this is a youth team, so it's a slightly different managerial sort of, what's the word? So logistically, it's done slightly differently. But obviously, Solskjaer has his opinions and he makes some decisions on every level. So it does seem as though with the likes of Rashford, Martial, those kind of players, Luke Shaw even given new contracts. Solskjaer's decided, I like this player, he's getting a new contract, and the players who he doesn't like, unfortunately, have to leave. So it looks as though Hoogerwerf is one of those players that Solskjaer and the rest of the team at United are, they like him, and it's obviously a good thing to get these young lads on these professional contracts as well, because it stops what we're seeing with Jude Bellingham, basically, where people can come in and get your players for free, which is obviously never quite a good thing, and that is unfortunately a position that we find ourselves in with Angel Gomez at the moment. Obviously, we saw Chong sign a deal the other week, but Gomez is still on that kind of willy won't he type thing. Someone saying, there is Angel Gomez going. I don't know if any of you watched the Academy review the other day with David Pritt, but if you haven't seen that, check that out, because we do go into a bit more detail there, and Dave is a bit more in the know on these things than me, but speaking from what he said, it does seem as though there's a bit of a conflict. Well, there is definitely a bit of a conflict with Gomez at the moment, but one of the factors playing into that is he is maybe getting advice that he could be playing for someone bigger than United, or someone better than United, or that United haven't necessarily done things the right way, and that he should maybe go in elsewhere. So that's something to contend with as well, something a bit difficult at the moment. Sam G here saying, sorry Joe, I don't want to deviate, but could you, Steve and Alex, make a documentary about the history of Stretford Paddock for your hardcore fans? Well, it's interesting you say that, because it's, if you mean Stretford Paddock as in the section of the ground, then that's something we could look into, definitely. But if you mean the history of Stretford Paddock as a channel, you might have to tell me what you mean there, but I'll assume you do mean that just because it lends nicely to what I wanted to say anyway. Keep an eye out in the next few days coming up, because we're going to have a few certain changes to the channel. Nothing major, but basically a way for people to get a little bit more from the channel, and maybe looking back at the start and at the history of the channel and having a bit of a laugh will be a part of that. So I'll let you know more details when they're able to be told. But yeah, look out for that. That's coming up, so that should be good. Again, let's do a quick little recap before we go. 13 minutes, it's flown this, hasn't it? Let's go back quickly to our main story today, because it is a doozy, isn't it? Shanghai Shenhua have offered £400,000 a week to Odion Ighalo to keep him in China. And obviously that is coming on the back of United's interest in signing him on a permanent deal. Again, let me know in the comments, do you think this is a genuine offer from China or from Shanghai, or do you think they're doing this so that United have to pay a bigger transfer fee, basically on the assumption that Ighalo won't sign, and that it will just mean that, well, you know what, it turns its head a little bit more just so that they can maybe get 20, 25 million rather than the 15 million that has been touted around for Ighalo at the moment. Let me know what you think. Do you think it's a bit of little bit of not mind games, but just sort of games, just regular games. Why does everything have to be mind games all the time? Sometimes just normal games, contract games. That's a normal game, isn't it? We all play contract games at home growing up. Joe, you'll really go at saying their name. Good at saying their name, do you mean? Thank you. If Gomez, okay, let him go. Doesn't want to stay. He could become world class, but his heart's not in it. Yeah. Someone says Ighalo ain't going anywhere. Do you mean he ain't leaving United or he ain't leaving Shanghai? Because he's currently sort of half employed by 2 different clubs. So when you say he ain't going anywhere, I don't really know what that means. Is Phil Jones going? I don't know. Yes, Joe, the channel, how you guys met up, got together. Yeah, the history. Yeah, there will be some stuff of a similar style to that coming out in the next few weeks, hopefully. So that should be very exciting. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for that. Eyes peeled, such a disgusting, sort of cringing, like a physical cringe, not like a, oh, your dad did a dance on a webcam. Like actual cringing type feel to it. Anyway, right, that's going to be all for us today. Thank you very much for joining me. Like I said, we're going to be back for a podcast later on. It's hopefully going to be me, Stephen Howson, Adam McCullough, and Jay from Full Time Devils. So we're going to have a little Stretford Paddock versus Full Time Devils type thing going on there. So that should be very good. Thank you very much for joining me. And I know for a fact that the closing video doesn't work either. It's been a nightmare. So this is going to just go to black. You're all going to have to go to sleep and wake up for the podcast later this afternoon. And we'll see you next time. Thank you.